Hey friends, welcome to the show. It's me, Curtis G. Lisa and I just got back from a trip down south, some time in Georgia with my family, then over to South Carolina to see her family. I love going home. I also love coming back home. Today's show's kind of a mishmash. I start out with a beef stew and some of my craziness with my my learning curve with editing. I have so much fun in the kitchen. Then I have equally as much fun here trying to create or put the show together with fonts and all those things and just different things. And I'll talk about that as we go on. Then I share my guacamole recipe, my rendition of guacamole. Don't turn your nose up at it. Try it before you judge it, okay? Then we're going to wrap the show up prepping Cornish hen. Sometimes I like to fry Cornish hens instead of a big old bird like we used to do back in the day. So hope you enjoyed today's show. Remember, it's all about sharing love and passion. And hopefully, you can share your love and spread love like I try to. Peace, spread love, enjoy the show. All right, friends. This is like year 3 of the Curtis Aikens show, and I'm having so much fun with this. I'm still in that learning process. I'm very casual today. I've got my FDR, President of the Library shirt on. Eleanor Roosevelt. It says, "Plant a tree and feed the and seed the future." I think that's what it says. Anyway, it's getting chilly. November 16th today. Back to what I was telling you about. It's like I'm learning now. I'm getting better at this editing thing, and this video that I'm just kind of running, and you're seeing that. I'm gonna have to cut it up so I can make it work. I just want you to see the whole video, and then we'll get to the next part. Is when I will edit it and make it look like I shot it in a different order. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm just having so much fun doing this show. I probably will never make any money at it, but I'm sure making a lot of wonderful memories. And that's what I'm hoping to motivate, inspire, and get you to try to do for yourself too. Tell your stories. How does that sound? All right, ingredients for our beef stew. We got onion, potato, garlic, tomato paste, carrots, celery, and olive oil to brown our beef in. Now, there's that, the way I cut that to show the vegetables. We're going to move into the beef and also prepping it right now. And here's our beef, of course. We're using chuck meat for this. You're going to see me walking the scene into the shot there with my tie-dye shirt and some olive oil. We're going to go ahead and present that beautiful beef to you. And I almost lost that onion. I'm going to season that flour with some Lowry seasoned salt. I usually make my own. Some salt, some coarse salt. I'm going ahead and flour. And I'm going to also add some of that onto the beef as well. I'm going to add some pepper to both the flour and the meat. And then we will go ahead and get ready to brown that beautiful meat. Now I'm pretty much taking you step by step to this. We're going to turn the burner on, of course, and add our stock pot to the flame. And then we're going to add our olive oil. And of course, you can use corn oil or any oil that you like. I actually love the flavor of olive oil when I'm cooking with it. It adds something. So I'm going to add about tablespoon, 2 or 3 tablespoons. And we let that get nice and hot. And then we're going to move over, and what I'm going to do is that seasoned flour. Got my container. I'm going to go ahead and add that seasoned flour to the container. And I'm doing this, it kind of helps to mix it up when I pour it in like that. And we just simply start to add our chunks of beef to the seasoned flour. Maybe I should just speed that up. You don't want to watch me dump all those in there, do you? Or maybe you do. All right, there we go. Just go ahead and put it on high speed. Just add all the beef to the seasoned flour. We're going to add a lid to it and then shake it, but do not break it. And we are ready to brown. Oh, the oil is nice and hot. We'll just start to add the beautiful chunks of seasoned, floured and seasoned beef, and we're just gonna brown them. This is what the base for that beautiful, thick gravy, the stew we're gonna have in there. Oh, listen to that sizzle. Just love that. And just take your time. We're gonna brown this meat, 5 to 7 minutes or longer if you need to. You don't wanna overcook it. However, you want it nice and brown. And then we're gonna remove it from the pan once it is brown. And you'll see that coming up. Un momento, por favor. Oh, there we go. See how the meat is browned up nicely now. Again, we're not going to overcook it because we want it to stay nice and tender with that slow cooking process. Going to remove all our beef from the pan. And then let's go ahead and get our vegetables ready. Beautiful stuff from the pan. We're going to use that to make our gravy. Let's go ahead and chop our celery. This is how I just dice that up. I want small pieces here. We're going to do the same with our onion. Nice diced onion, kind of a medium dice. We're going to coarse seed the bell pepper. Just cut them into nice strips, chunks, however you want to. There's no rhyme or reason to this because it's all going to taste good. And take a look. The drippings left in the pan, we're going to add our celery. And I usually give these about 30 seconds before adding the next ingredient. The onions will go in next, along with the peppers. And we're just going to cook these until the onions become translucent. Maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Longer is fine. You can add some more oil to that pan if you need to, and then just kind of stir it up with your spoon or your spatula, whatever you got. I have a wooden spoon, so let's stir that up. And I want all that nice flavor from the bottom, the drippings that were left from the meat to kind of mix in. That's going to add the flavor. Of course, you could add a little salt and pepper if you'd like to as well. And let's just allow that to cook until it becomes translucent. And you can go ahead and add a lid to this to help to speed up that cooking. All right, back to stovetop, and we're going to remove the lid, and it helps to sweat the vegetables with that lid on there. I'm going to add about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to use my garlic press because I really want that oil. And you can also add chunks of garlic if you want more of that garlic feel in there. I just take my garlic press and just press that oil because the oil inside those cloves of garlic is what really gives you that beautiful, rich garlic flavor. So do not be afraid to add garlic. Look at that. Garlic, onions, and they cook down nicely. This is a great combo with the stew. It's so little nuances that you want to add in the stew. If you look over to the left here in the corner of the screen, you see that beef has a little pinkness to it, right? So the slow cooking process really helps to bring out all that flavor, and it makes those less expensive, less tender cuts of meat more tender with the slow cooking. That's why people love stews, like an all-day stew, Slow cooking is really fabulous. I'm going to get all that oil out of there. Just stir up a bit. We will add a lid back onto this and just allow it to cook a little bit more. There we go. Now, take a look at these onions when we open it up. You see how they become almost clear. You can look down there. Oh, that beautiful steam. And the house was smelling so good at this point. Now we're getting ready to add our beef back to the pot there. And we got a couple of things coming up that I didn't show you earlier in the show. Look at that beautiful. And add all the juices right in there. And we're going to stir those up. I'm going to add a little bit of red wine to this and also some broth. I like to use vegetable broth with any kind of stews or soups that I'm using, as opposed to, and if you really want a strong beef flavor, of course, you can use a beef broth, but I'm going to use a vegetable broth. I just always seem to, it just makes my soups and stews they give them a little cleaner feel to it. Here's that red wine. I think I had a Pinot. That's a little Pinot we've added to it. And we're going to just let that simmer. It helps to bring the juices out of all those vegetables, as my friend Joe Carchoni would say. I'm going to stir it up a little bit and make an opening in the center of my stew for this beautiful San Marzano tomato paste. Those Italian tomatoes. Ooh, they've got such a beautiful flavor. Add it right in there, and you see how the steam's coming out. Put it right inside the juice there, that Pinot juice, that Pinot as in Pinot Noir wine. Just kind of stir it in the middle there. Put my big mitten right in the middle so you can't see me work it. Lid goes back on, and we've got more vegetables to get ready for the pot. So let's go get those carrots and tomatoes. Let's say tomatoes, those carrots and potatoes, ready for this beautiful pot of beef stew. All right, when it comes to carrots, very rarely, if ever, do I peel them. However, I do remove the top and the bottom, the root end and the stem end. I just cut those out, and then I'm just going to cut them in like maybe, quarter-inch pieces. I'm going to use 2 potatoes. This is the Yukon Gold. I just love the way you get the 2 different types of texture. I'm just going to go ahead and peel those. And that's a russet, just a baking potato. Just get that peeled as well and remove any spots, any eyes. And we're just going to cut them into pieces. And we just about got everything ready to go into our stock pot. All right, back to the stovetop we go. Remove the lid. Now take a look at this. Isn't that gorgeous how it's starting to come together? And there's more and more juices coming out of the vegetables as well as the meat. Later on, we'll add that broth to it. Now I'm going to stir it up. Just make sure it doesn't stick. If your bottom is too hot, so you don't want it to burn. Notice how the backside there, I'm just kind of scraping that loose because all of that is flavor in this stew. Now let's get ready to add our carrots. Oh, but first we're going to deglaze that pan by adding some more of that red wine. We're going to add our vegetables. And then I got something else I'm going to add to it as well. A little Worcestershire sauce. Just be ready for that. A little Worcestershire coming up. Worcestershire and beef go so well together. And whenever I'm using Worcestershire, I think of my good friend Jesse Sapolo, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the 49ers. It could never say Worcestershire, so he'd say W sauce. Now check this out. A little bit of that flour I'm going to add. And remember, flour is how you make a good roux. So I'm going to sprinkle it right on that beef. And if you want to, place the lid back on this just for a minute before adding the other ingredients. I'm not going to do it this time. However, there are many occasions I'll do this, and I'll just kind of let more juices kind of soak that flour down in. Carrots go in. Where we have those potatoes? Come on, Mr. Potato Head. I love this process, whether I'm cooking the food or when I'm in the studio here editing and talking about this. It takes me back so many memories. Now, here are those 2 potatoes, the Yukon Gold as well as the russet. They look very similar in the pan, don't they? You can't really tell the difference in them. However, you will be able to taste the flavor. Look at that, just kind of stir it up, get everything coated. Here's that broth. Now, this is a vegetable broth. Why do I like vegetable broth? Well, I don't know if I like the word clean or not. It's just that it allows the flavor of the beef to be stronger than the juice, if that makes any sense. The beef flavor permeates that vegetable broth. However, the broth doesn't overpower the meat, if that makes any sense. Just try it, and I think you're gonna really love this technique or this process. I always use vegetable broth in any of my soups and or stews. You know, we're just about done. We're just gonna let this bring it to a boil and allow it to simmer. The sad thing, look at that. The sad thing is here, I did not get a shot of me tasting this stew. And stew is one of those things that tastes better the second day. In fact, we had it left for 2 days. And that last day, the flavor was so incredible. I'm gonna let this cook for maybe 2 to 3 hours on a nice slow and go. Bon appetit, everyone. Well, if you follow me on social media for the last week or so, you've seen these two avocados. These are probably the world's most traveled avocados. They left California on November 9th to Georgia to become guacamole. Had too many, so they are taking a nap before coming back to California. When I picked them up at my sister's house, so I had two left over. Now here they are today, getting ready to become guacamole. Here's my rendition of that wonderful Mexican dish, guacamole. Ingredients for guacamole: avocados, lime juice, cilantro, onion, salt, pepper, and mayonnaise. Do not frown, it's optional. Well, of course, it always starts when you're making guacamole with the avocado. These avocados took about a week to ripen. I'm just gonna slice through the middle, a little twist that opens up, and knife goes in, just twist it, and the seed comes out. Now, I'm gonna save this seed to put into the guacamole at the end, and you'll see why. It helps to keep it from turning brown. Just take a nice little soup spoon and scoop the avocado meat out, like so. Now, this next avocado, you're going to see, I'm doing the same thing to it. I'm also going to show you how to, like this one, it's not overripe, how it has a spot in it. And you'll see once we remove it, same thing. See that little spot there? I'm just going to scoop that right out because the rest of the avocado is fine. See, I'm going to slice so you can see the inside of it. I don't want that in my guacamole. So I just then go back to the same thing. Take the spoon and scoop it out. Remove the seed. Take the other half of that bad part out. And again, there we go. So our avocado is in the container. And I'm going to use my just potato masher when it's time to mash those up. Another big flavor component is the onion. The various onions, they have different flavors. The Spanish onion, or the one that's brown, it's not as hot as the white onion, the total white flesh. And I'm just going ahead and mash that avocado up. So I like to use the Spanish onion. That could have been diced a little finer. However, that's okay because I really like the crunchy onion in my guacamole. And then just mix it up. Just mix it in there really nice. We're going to squeeze that lemon in here next. Where did you go, Curtis? There we go. Just continue to mix it up. I'm going to cut this lemon in half. Roll it out to just make sure it's nice and soft. And good lemon is a seedless one. I think some lemons do have seeds. However, this one came out of my backyard and it's beautiful. Did I say lemon? I mean the lime. Those limes add so much flavor to it. Although you could use a green lemon as well. Now here's the cilantro. Again, this cilantro came from my backyard as well. I'm going to remove the flower except for the top part. I don't want the stems. They're a little too tough for guacamole. However, if you like that flavor, it's okay to use them. Just chop them up really fine. I remove those leaves. The cilantro leaves, they are a member of the parsley family, and just dice those up. It has such a beautiful fresh flavor. It goes great with beans as well. Just chop those up as fine as you want. However, I like kind of a coarse chop because I want to see the cilantro in my guacamole. And we're going to take and mix this over. Just mix it well. And we're almost ready to do our first taste. Now, it's smooth enough and it's ready to taste. And I'm going to use just some corn chips here. I don't have any tortillas today. And remember, salt and pepper is always a thing you use to do to taste. And because of using the corn chips, you may not need as much salt. I'm going to add some pepper here. And I also want to remind you that I love the mayo in here. And remember, mayonnaise is just what? Oil and eggs. I think it makes, well, I know it makes my guacamole a little more creamy, and it adds a little something to it. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of mayo to this guacamole, and I'm going to mix it up again, mix it well, so that it goes great. Just a little bit. Look at that. Just mix it in there. It gives it a little smoother texture as well. And before we go, I hope you'll see where I put the avocado seed in there. For some reason, that helps to keep it from turning brown. I love this guacamole. Again, you do not have to use the mayo. Okay, I'm giving it 2 or 3 thumbs up and snapping, and this guacamole is great. There goes the avo seed right in there. Lid goes on top. Bon appetit. So tomorrow we are having guests over. I've washed my hands. As you see, I've got the Cornish hen, and I believe I have shown you this before. We're going to 3, 2, 1. All right, tomorrow we're having some guests over, some friends over, Rob and Cindy Bloom. They're here from Hawaii, and I'm going to do some barbecued ribs, and I'm also going to do chicken, Cornish hen, I should say. And one hen I'm going to fry, the other I'm going to barbecue. So it's about 9 o'clock Saturday evening, and I'm going to go ahead and prep slice the bird up. I'm going to put it in buttermilk and salt and pepper and let this soak overnight, soak overnight. So let's get started. I've got my cutting board here, the wooden cutting board, and I like having the ridges. This way, if there's any blood, anything that trickles off, it's caught in the ridges, and you don't contaminate the rest of your cooktop. Did I say cooktop? Your working area, okay? And that is always that wet paper towel underneath the cutting board, whether it's a wooden cutting board, silicone, whatever, it just locks it into place. Previously, I've cut through the breastplate for you, so I thought I'd do it the other way tonight. I turn it over and show you how easy it is to cut from the backbone. Here's the center of the back, but I'm going to go just to the side of right off the center line, right? And just split through. I'm going to press my blade. I'm going to try not to block this shot. I want you to see how that backbone cuts through. And I'm using my Cutco blades tonight. The Vustav's out in the studio. Look at that. That's a nice clean cut. And then you just go ahead and kind of, take out any of those little pieces that are stuck in between the backbone, parts of the liver and things like that. Some people are squeamish about this, and I don't want you to be, because, cooking for people you love, this is how you do it. I remember watching my grandmother as a little boy. She would actually butcher the chicken from start to finish. I'm not going to describe that to you. Those of you that with country roots know what I'm talking about. So those are 2 nice halves of the Cornish hen, okay? And again, we just remove the wing. Just cut right through. You see the little tendon there. Just take your time. You make a nice little cut right through there, and you have to have that whole little piece come off. Isn't that beautiful? Nice and simple. Now here we go, the leg piece. The leg, there's the thigh portion. And again, you can reach down and kind of just feel that little joint bone. And right through there. If you look through this side, you can kind of bend it. You see right there, there's an easy little spot to cut it. You see how that goes? And then just follow the ridge, follow the curvature of that thigh and leg. See how easy that is? Now, because the Cornish hens are so small, I leave that attached. If I was using if I was preparing a full-size chicken or hen, I might cut through that, and it's easy to do as well. You can just kind of see that wiggle spot there. I'm going to show you, even with this Cornish hen. Again, you take your knife and you can feel in there till you get to that little cartilage, and it cuts right through. You see how easy that cuts? There we go. Okay. I'm going to take the lid off of my container. and we can start putting our pieces of, as we say in the South, our yard bird in there. Okay, this has already been washed, but it doesn't hurt. You can wash it again if you're worried about any bone dust being on there. Beautiful little chicken breast right there, little Cornish hen breast. Okay, same way, and there's our wing. All the pieces go in there. Again, just feel for the little joint and just let your knife do the work. That's so easy. Look at that. Okay. And if you want, of course, you could remove that little wing there, that little flapper. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm cutting from the top side this time. See how that is there? Come right through. Is that okay at home? And a nice, good chef's knife could cut right through there. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. And I left a little chicken rear on there. I think I've told you the story about me and those chicken rears, right? There we go. A lot of places remove that little, that's the backbone, okay? And I think I'll go ahead and cut that off for you. And it's funny, my mother would cook those chicken backs. Oh my Lord. You know, oh, and it was so good. There's not much meat on there, but what is there is really tasty. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands, dry them, and then we will go ahead and add our salt and pepper, and we'll put the buttermilk in and marinate overnight. So be right back. Well, I've gone ahead and done a little cleanup here. Got our bird there. I got the salt pepper mixture, and I'm just going to sprinkle it. I'm not really worried about turning the bird over, because once we add the buttermilk, everything will get that seasoning. And if you want to add a little paprika, whatever else you wanted to your yard bird, that is cool. Okay, and I'm just going to cover all our chicken with the buttermilk, and this will marinate overnight. Tomorrow we'll be ready to fry. So we got the chicken I fried the other day. We'll have this, and I'm going to the two different type of buttermilk and one without. All right, peace, spread love. Into the refrigerator.